Jackie Chan is back. In the wake of his smash hit, Police Story. A madman is threatening to blow up the city. The city calls in their finest to stop him. Jackie Chan is their finest. Police Story 2. The ransom is a tidy fortune. The hostage, the girl he loves. The weapon, a human bomb. He's the bomb. He knows he can't blow it. He's wired for action. Every breath could be his last. Jackie Chan. Police Story 2.
Picture this. You are 11 years old. It is a Saturday afternoon. Your mom told you to clean your room 2 hours ago, and you have not moved an inch because Jackie Chan is on TV, and he just picked up a ladder, a fish tank, a wooden stool, and somehow a ladder again, and turned all of it into the most beautiful, terrifying, and hilarious fight sequence your young brain had ever witnessed. You did not know what choreography was. You did not know what stunt coordination meant. All you knew was that this man was not human. Welcome back. Today we are counting down the top 7 moments when Jackie Chan grabbed the most ordinary, ridiculous, everyday objects imaginable and turned them into weapons of absolute genius. We are talking ladders, umbrellas, car parts, baby strollers, and things that have absolutely no business being in a fight scene. 7 films, 7 moments that prove Jackie Chan was not just an action star. He was the most creative fighter who ever lived. Now here is the thing. Number 1 on this list involves an object so unexpected, so completely out of left field, that when you see it you are going to wonder how a grown man thought of this during a fight. Stick around, you will not see it coming. Let us go.
Colonial Hong Kong. A city that had everything. Except good guys. Time. The legendary smash hit. A thrilling action classic. With Once Upon a Time in China's Rose. Written by, directed by, and starring the most incredible action hero of all time, in what some call his greatest action role ever.
Let's start at number 7, and we are going straight to the streets of 1900s Hong Kong, where Jackie Chan decided that a simple alleyway full of laundry, bamboo poles, and wooden buckets was basically a fully stocked armory. Project Part 2 came out in 1987, 4 years after the original, and Jackie was already operating at a level of creative insanity that no other filmmaker or performer on the planet could match. He wrote it, directed it, and starred in it, which means every single ridiculous prop choice was his idea, every single one. The sequence everyone remembers happens in a cramped residential neighborhood, where Jackie is being chased by multiple groups at once, which was already exhausting just to watch. He grabs a bamboo drying pole off a balcony and uses it to vault, block, trip, and swing across an entire courtyard. Then comes the wooden bucket. He does not throw it. He does not smash it over anyone's head. He drops it perfectly over a man's face mid, runs so the guy keeps charging forward completely blind and crashes into a wall. The timing was so precise it looked like a magic trick. The bucket was not a weapon. It was a punchline that also happened to win a fight. What made this era of Jackie films so special was the environment itself became a character. There were no clean studio sets. Everything was real, everything was breakable, and Jackie treated every single object in frame like it had potential. The bamboo pole and the bucket were not props. They were solutions. Jackie kept pushing this formula deeper into the late 80s, and the results kept getting wilder. But if Project Apart 2 was a warm-up act, the next entry turned an entire garage into a battlefield.
Fella's got one hell of a friendly city here, you know that?
Welcome to New York.
A sudden outbreak of violence has pushed him too far.
I don't like it any more than you do when a cop gets killed.
Now there's no going back.
But we're not in the revenge business.
As the war spreads to the streets of Hong Kong.
It's a friendly little town you got here, Inspector.
Welcome to Hong Kong. Tell Harold Cole we're in town. Get the hell out of here! They will be taken care of.
Meet New York's new weapon, Jackie Chan.
Number 6 takes us somewhere a little different. The Protector was Jackie Chan's serious attempt to crack the American market in 1985, a slick Hollywood production directed by James Glickenhaus that tried to turn Jackie into a straight-faced New York cop with a gun and a leather jacket. The studio wanted Dirty Harry. What they got was Jackie Chan, which meant no matter how hard everyone tried to keep things serious, the man could not help turning a dockyard full of industrial equipment into a one-man obstacle course. The film itself was a mixed bag. Jackie was famously unhappy with the final cut, and actually re-edited it himself for the Asian release, adding humor and extending the action sequences. But buried inside this awkward Hollywood experiment was a warehouse fight sequence that reminded everyone exactly what Jackie was capable of when you gave him a cluttered environment and 30 seconds to think. He grabs a heavy chain off a loading dock hook and uses it first as a whip, then as a tripwire, then swings it overhead to disarm a man who is pointing a gun directly at his face. Then comes the wooden cargo pallet. He does not swing it. He slides it across the concrete floor like a bowling ball and takes out 2 men at the ankle simultaneously. They go down like pins, and Jackie is already moving before they hit the ground. The pallet weighed nothing to him. The physics of it, the geometry of the angle, was calculated in real time during filming. The Protector never quite figured out what kind of movie it wanted to be, but that dockyard sequence was pure Jackie, unfiltered and unstoppable, even when Hollywood was trying its hardest to put him in a box. From the concrete docks of New York to the crowded emotional streets of Hong Kong, the next entry shows a completely different side of Jackie Chan, one that most Western audiences never even knew existed. Number 5 is the one that always surprises people when it shows up on a list like this. Heart of Dragon came out the same year as The Protector, 1985, and the two films could not be more different in tone. While Hollywood was trying to package Jackie as a tough guy action hero, back in Hong Kong, he was making a deeply personal drama about a cop who sacrifices his dreams to care for his intellectually disabled older brother, played by Sammo Hung. It was emotional, it was quiet, and then the last 20 minutes happened. The final act explodes into one of the most furious and underrated action sequences Jackie ever filmed. And the location is a cramped, narrow street market, the kind of place where vendors stack their crates 6 feet high, and every square foot of ground is covered with produce, metal buckets, wooden crates, and hanging goods. Jackie does not walk into this space looking for weapons. The weapons find him. He grabs a wooden vegetable crate and uses the open slats to trap a man's punching arm mid-swing, locks it, and turns the attacker's own momentum against him. Then a hanging metal street lamp becomes a pivot point. He swings around to deliver a 2-footed kick to 2 men standing 5 feet apart. A stack of empty tin cans gets kicked low into the ankles of a third attacker approaching from behind, without Jackie even turning around. He heard the footsteps. He kicked without looking. The tin cans did the rest. What makes this sequence hit harder than almost anything else in his catalog is the emotional context surrounding it. Jackie's character has been holding everything together for the entire film, quietly and without complaint. When he finally lets go in that market, every punch and every improvised weapon carries the weight of everything that came before it. It is not just clever, it is cathartic. Heart of Dragon never got the Western audience it deserved, because nobody knew how to market a Jackie Chan film that made you cry before it made you cheer. That remains one of Hong Kong cinema's great injustices. From the emotional streets of that market to the fluorescent, lit chaos of a shopping mall. The next entry proves that Jackie Chan could turn a Tuesday afternoon retail environment into a demolition zone.
Jackie Chan is back. In the wake of his smash hit, Police Story. A madman is threatening to blow up the city. The city calls in their finest to stop him. Jackie Chan is their finest. Police Story 2. The ransom is a tidy fortune. The hostage, the girl he loves. The weapon, a human bomb. He's the bomb. He knows he can't blow it. He's wired for action. Every breath could be his last. Jackie Chan. Police Story 2.
Number 4 brings us back to Jackie Chan at the absolute peak of his Hong Kong powers. And if you grew up watching this one on a Saturday afternoon, you already know exactly which scene we are about to talk about. Police Story 2 arrived in 1988, 3 years after the original film that had already set an impossible standard for practical action cinema. Jackie was older, sharper, and somehow even more willing to throw himself and everything around him into complete chaos. The first film had the shopping mall glass explosion sequence that left audiences speechless. The sequel looked at that legacy and said, "Let us top it inside a fireworks warehouse. But before we get there, we need to talk about the playground." There is a sequence in the middle of Police Story 2, set in an outdoor playground at night, that almost nobody talks about, but absolutely everybody should. Jackie is ambushed by a group of thugs while trying to have what passes for a quiet evening, and suddenly every single piece of playground equipment becomes part of the fight. A metal swing set becomes a blocking frame he uses to pin 2 attackers simultaneously against the poles. A plastic slide becomes a ramp he uses to redirect a charging man's momentum directly into a chain link fence. Then comes the park bench. He does not lift it. He tips it at a precise angle so one attacker trips over the edge mid-charge and goes face first into the gravel while Jackie is already dealing with someone behind him. The genius of this sequence is the complete absence of hesitation. Every object gets assessed, used, and discarded in under 2 seconds. There is no pause where Jackie looks at the bench and thinks about it. His body already knows. The decision happens faster than conscious thought, which is what 10 years of stunt training and absolute obsession with physical storytelling produces. Police Story 2 also contains that legendary fireworks warehouse finale, which belongs on a completely different list about sequences that should have killed someone. But it is the quiet playground fight in the middle of the film that reveals the true depth of what Jackie was doing with space and environment during this period. From a nighttime playground to a garage full of grease, metal, and very bad decisions. The next entry shifts gears entirely and takes Jackie Chan somewhere he had never quite gone before. Number 3 is the wild card on this list. And if you have never heard of City War, that is exactly the point. City War came out in 1988, the same year as Police Story 2, which is part of why it got completely buried. Jackie Chan was not the lead here. He shared top billing with Chow Yun. Fat in what was essentially a gritty Hong Kong crime thriller, the kind of film where people get shot in parking garages, and nobody is cracking jokes. Jackie was playing against type, subdued, and serious, which made it genuinely disorienting for audiences who came expecting the usual energy. But tucked inside this dark, underrated film is a restaurant fight sequence that belongs in the conversation with the very best work of his career. The setting is a mid-range Hong Kong restaurant, the kind with round tables, lazy Susans, and more breakable objects per square foot than almost any environment Jackie ever worked in. When the fight breaks out, it starts slowly, almost reluctantly, and then Jackie reaches for a glass lazy Susan rotating slowly in the middle of the table and uses it as a spinning shield to deflect a bottle swung at his head. The rotation of the lazy Susan redirects the bottle's arc so perfectly that the attacker stumbles from his own momentum. Then a metal chopstick holder, small enough to fit in a shirt pocket, gets palmed and used to jab a pressure point on a wrist that is grabbing his collar. The man's grip releases instantly. Jackie does not even look at him. What makes City War fascinating in the context of this list is the restraint. This is not the exuberant playground acrobatics of Police Story 2 or the bamboo pole vaulting of Project. A Part 2. Every object choice here is minimal, almost invisible. The lazy Susan was already moving. The chopstick holder was already on the table. Jackie did not reach for anything. He just used what was already in motion around him, which in many ways is the purest expression of his entire philosophy as a fighter and a filmmaker. City War disappeared quickly and has lived in the shadow of Chow Yun-Fat's John Woo films ever since. That is a shame because what Jackie did in that restaurant deserved a much bigger audience, from the quiet precision of a restaurant table to the sheer mechanical madness of a working garage. The next entry cranks the volume back up to maximum.
International band of terrorists has just busted their leader out from prison. And the government is powerless to stop them. Only one man can. Kidnapped his two sisters, and he's in a race for their lives.
Number 2 lands us squarely in the mid-90s, when Jackie Chan was somehow simultaneously the biggest action star in Asia, breaking into the American mainstream with Rumble in the Bronx, and still finding time to make a film about illegal street racing that nobody asked for but absolutely delivered on the action front. Thunderbolt came out in 1995, and it is a genuinely strange film. Half of it is a racing movie that takes itself very seriously. The other half is Jackie Chan destroying an entire pachinko parlor with his bare hands and then later doing things inside an automobile garage that would make a mechanic weep. The garage sequence is why we are here today. The setup is straightforward. A group of hired thugs invades the garage where Jackie's character works, intending to send a very clear message involving a significant amount of physical damage. What they did not account for was that Jackie Chan had been thinking about what you could do in a fight inside a fully stocked automotive garage for probably his entire adult life and was extremely ready for this moment. He grabs a torque wrench first, not to swing it, but to use the hooked end to snag a man's belt loop mid-kick, pulling him off balance at the exact moment his weight was entirely on one foot. The man drops sideways like a folding chair. Then a rubber timing belt comes off a nearby workbench and gets looped around a wrist in one fluid motion, used as a restraint that pins an attacker's arm behind his back, without Jackie ever breaking stride. A hydraulic jack handle becomes a staff for approximately 4 seconds before Jackie decides it is more useful as a lever, jamming it under a rolling tool chest and sending the entire unit sliding across the concrete floor into 2 men approaching from the left. The sequence keeps escalating. An oil drain pan gets kicked upward from the floor into a face. A coil of electrical wire gets thrown, not at anyone but between 2 men's legs, tangling their feet together mid-charge, so they collide with each other instead of with Jackie. He did not throw it as a weapon. He threw it as a trap, calculated to land in exactly the right spot 2 seconds before it became relevant. Thunderbolt never fully worked as a complete film. The racing sequences were overlong, the story was thin, and the American release was edited so heavily, it barely made sense. But that garage fight is a masterclass in environmental awareness that holds up against anything Jackie made in his prime years. It is the work of someone who looks at a room full of tools and sees not a workspace, but a conversation waiting to happen. From the grease and metal of a working garage to something so completely unexpected, it almost defies description. Our number 1 entry involves an object that has never appeared in any other action film before or since. And once you see it, you will understand exactly why Jackie Chan was simply operating on a different planet from everyone else.
Remember the agreement. It was no arson or murder, kidnapping or extortion. You told us, and now you're kidnapping children?
And here we are. Number 1, the moment we promised you at the top of this video that would make you stop and genuinely question how a human brain arrives at this decision during a fight sequence. Rob Hood came out in 2006, and on the surface it looks like the least likely candidate for the greatest improvised weapon sequence in Jackie Chan's entire career. It is a comedy caper about 2 thieves who accidentally end up babysitting an infant, and slowly discover they have hearts after all. There are diaper jokes. There is a scene where Jackie sings a lullaby. It is genuinely sweet and funny, and about as far from the gritty warehouse fights of his 80s peak as you can possibly get. And then the finale arrives, and Jackie Chan reminds everyone on planet Earth exactly who he is. The climax takes place in and around a residential apartment building, and the enemy combatants have made the catastrophic mistake of attacking Jackie Chan in a space that contains a fully loaded baby stroller, 3 diaper bags, a portable baby bouncer, a tin of powdered infant formula, and a collection of soft plastic infant toys. Lesser filmmakers would have ignored all of this. Jackie Chan saw a complete arsenal. The baby stroller goes first. He does not push it at anyone. He locks the wheels, grabs the handle, and uses the entire frame as a pushing shield to herd 2 attackers simultaneously into a door frame, the stroller's front bumper catching both men at hip height and folding them forward at exactly the wrong angle. Then a diaper bag, stuffed full and surprisingly heavy, gets swung in a wide arc overhead and brought down on a third man's guard with enough force to break his defensive stance completely open. It is essentially a sandbag with cartoon animals printed on it, and it works perfectly. Then comes the moment. The tin of powdered infant formula. Jackie does not throw it. He pops the lid with his thumb mid-run, and as an attacker lunges at him from the right, he spins and releases a cloud of white powder directly into the man's face at point-blank range. The attacker stops completely, blinded and coughing, and Jackie uses the half-second of confusion to redirect him face first into the wall without breaking stride. The formula tin then gets used as a striking surface against the next man's elbow, the curved metal edge catching the joint at an angle that produces immediate compliance. And finally, the plastic infant toy, a soft rubber giraffe approximately 8 inches tall. Jackie palms it, squeezes it so it emits a high-pitched squeak directly next to the ear of the last standing attacker, who flinches involuntarily from the sudden noise, dropping his guard for exactly the fraction of a second Jackie needed. 1 strike done. The whole sequence lasts under 3 minutes. It contains a baby stroller, a diaper bag, a tin of infant formula, and a squeaky rubber giraffe. And it is more inventive, more precisely timed, and more purely joyful than anything involving actual weapons in any action film released that decade. Jackie Chan was 52 years old when he filmed it. He had broken nearly every bone in his body across 30 years of filmmaking, and he was still finding new things to pick up. That is not a stunt performer. That is not an action star. That is an artist who happened to express himself through fight choreography. And Rob Hood is his quietly magnificent final statement on what a human being with extraordinary imagination can do with the most ordinary objects in the world. So there you have it. 7 films. 7 moments where Jackie Chan looked at a bucket, a lazy Susan, a torque wrench, a squeaky rubber giraffe, and saw something the rest of us would never see in a million years. A solution, a story, a fight. What made Jackie Chan different from every other action star of his generation was never the kicks, or the speed, or the pain tolerance, although all of those were extraordinary. It was the curiosity. Every single environment he walked into, every single prop sitting in the corner of a set, became a question he was already answering before the cameras rolled. What does this do? How does this move? What happens if I use it this way? That kind of thinking does not come from a stunt school. It comes from a genuinely creative mind that never stopped asking questions. Bruce Lee gave us philosophy through movement. Van Damme gave us raw physical poetry. Steven Seagal gave us the unsettling impression that he might actually hurt someone. But Jackie Chan gave us something none of them could. He gave us joy. The pure, unfiltered joy of watching someone solve an impossible problem with a rubber giraffe and a tin of baby formula, and make it look like the most natural thing in the world. These 7 films are not just action movies. They are a document of a man who spent his entire career refusing to do things the expected way. Every ladder, every chain, every squeaky toy was a choice, and every single choice was the right one. Now here's what I want to know. Which of these sequences stopped you cold the first time you saw it? Was it the baby stroller in Rob Hood that made you rewind it twice? Was it the lazy Susan in City War that you never knew existed until today? Or is there a Jackie Chan improvised weapon moment I completely missed that you think deserves to be number 1? Drop it in the comments, because I genuinely want to know if you grew up watching Jackie Chan turn everyday objects into absolute chaos. Hit that like button. If you want more deep dives into the films and moments that defined action cinema before CGI made everything look the same, subscribe so you do not miss what is coming next. And leave a comment with the Jackie Chan film you think is most underrated, because that list is going to be a very good conversation. Next time we are going somewhere completely different. We are looking at the 10 action films from the 90s that everyone rented once, told all their friends about, and then somehow completely forgot existed. Hidden gems, late-night cable discoveries, and at least 2 films that should have made their lead actor a household name but did not. That one is coming soon. Do not go anywhere.